that is our weekly Ice Up picks. Um, so I think usually I let everybody else go first, and I think I'm going to go first this week with my Ice Up pick. Joe, you cool with that?
Yeah, do it to it.
Okay, my Ice Up pick of the week goes to the Cleveland Browns organization. We look, the Panthers. I'm not trying to diss on anybody else's misfortune. I'm certainly not. We had a 2-14 season. We've missed the playoffs for 5 years. We're a young franchise. You have a much more storied legacy of terribleness than we do. Um, but your whole organization is a total mess, Cleveland. And this, you have wasted years and draft picks consecutively. I called it on the Brandon Weeden pickup. You can't draft a guy that's 30. It just doesn't work, or 28. We did it with Chris Winkie, and one-eyed Winkie couldn't throw it more than 10 yards. Brandon Weeden was worse than Chris Winkie. I'm calling it, right? Second, you wasted a whole freaking season on a guy you had zero faith in Rod Chazinski. You hired a coach who came off of a team. Where we go last year? 7-8, Joey, or 8-7?
7 and 9, I think we were.
Oh yeah, because we got to play 16. Yeah, 7-9. You came from a team that was under 500. You hired an offensive coordinator who has not demonstrated he could be an offensive coordinator entirely or a head coach. And it was a throwaway hire. Why waste the season? If you're going to do something like this, Cleveland, go ahead and hire the right guy and just give him more time instead of this revolving door. So here is my Ice Up pick of the week, Joey, and it goes to the entire city of Cleveland and their football organization, the Browns, and I'm telling them to
Ice
ice up.
up.
All right, Joe, your turn.
Tony, I gotta agree with you 100% on that ice up pick. Cleveland Browns, the organization, is maybe even in worse shape than the Redskins.
Yeah,
Uh,
when we were terrible, Joey, I never thought like, oh, our organization is just the problem. I thought we had some bad years and some things, but I never went like we're dysfunctional. Those dudes are just dysfunctional.
Very much so. Very much so. My ice up pick goes to another dysfunctional bunch. Um, really, just one person who I think is wearing way too many hats. Um, Jerry Jones of the Dallas Cowboys. You're a very wealthy man. You you own a football team, and I understand it's your money and you want to do with it what you will. But look what wearing all those hats has done for your team. When was the last time you made the playoffs? In the last since 2000, since the year 2000, the Cowboys have won two games in week 17. Two games in 14 years in the very last week of the season. Jerry Jones, be the team owner. You don't need to be the general manager. You don't need to be the team president. You don't need to be the director of player personnel. Just
And you don't need to be a host on ESPN's First Take. And he has paid Skip Bayless off to make them relevant. I got a little surprise for you because I had a feeling you were going Jerry Jones on us today. I stumbled across this right before the show, Joey. Guy Clarence Hill Jr. at Clarence Hill Jr. I think he is um, like an analyst or a beat writer for the Cowboys. He said this, tweeted this: Jerry Jones on if he was embarrassed about this season, and it said, and he responded, "Would you get embarrassed if you were standing in this stadium?" Seriously, the answer is no, not at all. I think that might preach a little bit to what you're saying, Joey. Is he's not even upset? He's happy.
right. I think he's an egomaniac. I say that because he's more proud of this monument to Dallas Cowboys football he's built than he would be if this team was winning. He was winning years ago when they were playing in Texas Stadium. Remember before they built this new stadium, they won Super Bowls when he
Yeah.
first got to Dallas. And now he's built this monolith to Dallas Cowboys football, and they can't make the playoffs. So
They're a disaster, dude. They are
what
awful. Jason Garrett, awful. Everything about them is just horrendous, I think. Uh,
I agree. I think Jerry Jones needs to relinquish some of his power and let professional football people do their jobs. So to you, Jerry Jones, I have this to say: ice
Ice.
up.
Yeah, and the other thing, Jerry Jones, hey, you want to be the general manager in name, get a bunch of guys to tell you what to do and then sign the check. It ain't that hard. And be like, I drafted this guy, I scouted him, and just give yourself the credit. So I thought that that was pretty awful all around, too. Uh, and if I got to hear, I'm getting to the point I just want to reach through the dang television and strangle Skip Bayless uh, and this
You,
cowboy mania he has.
you are anti-skip for sure.
I didn't used to be, but he is getting worse, and now he's trying to channel Stephen A. Smith a little bit and like act like him. Really silly to me. So, all right. Any last words for the weekend?